politicians in this country have already condemned that. Do you?
Well, I want to establish the facts first. I want to speak to President Trump. I want to speak to allies. As I say, I can be absolutely clear that we were not involved in that. And as you know, I always say and believe we should all uphold international law. But I think at this stage, fast-moving situation, let's establish the facts and take it from there.
A major global crisis unfolds, with the US launching strikes and capturing a foreign leader. You'd expect Britain, a supposed global player and close ally, to be right in the thick of it, fully informed. But what we're about to see is an utterly damning indictment of our political elite. Keir Starmer's reaction to these seismic events reveals a shocking truth about how out of touch and perhaps deliberately kept in the dark our government really is. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now let's watch this together, and then I'll share my thoughts at the end.
We are not involved. Does that mean that we didn't even know? Does that mean America didn't bother telling one of their closest allies that this was going to go ahead?
Yeah, I think almost certainly. And there's another clue to the fact that we were totally in the dark on this, which I think is, as I said, almost certainly the case in this attack, is that Sir Keir Starmer said hopefully more information will come out when President Trump gives his press conference. He did later say that he wants to establish the facts and he wants to speak to President Trump and allies, but his first remark was that he was still waiting, essentially like us, for a press conference with President Trump to get more information about what has happened here, to establish the facts. So very clear that the UK intelligence community did not feed information to the Prime Minister overnight. We should be clear. I mean, there are systems in place that if there is a warning or an awareness that the whole global network receives, there are people on standby to wake up the Prime Minister any day, any time, day or night, to inform him of this. So it's highly likely that the first that the Prime Minister was hearing of this was the same as us when the pictures were floating in from locals in Venezuela sharing footage of explosions suddenly rocking the local ports, airports, air bases. And it's true also that the US media was learning about it in real time. We didn't even hear a statement from the US military until much later on when some sources started briefing, obviously anonymously, sources and officials were speaking to the US media after a couple of hours. So there was serious security on this operation. A couple of reasons for that. It might not be the case that they've not shared it with Britain due to concerns about us not mattering or anything like that, but more about information and operational security. We know that there have been so many embarrassing leaks from the US government in recent times. We saw strikes in the Middle East leaked into a signal group where a journalist was added. Like, these are information security errors that are unimaginable but have happened in the last year. It's highly likely that the information security on an operation of this complexity and delicacy would require them to not tell a single soul outside that very close group of officials and advisors. I think it's highly likely that wherever Delta Force were launched from to conduct this operation, that many of the sailors and soldiers around them wouldn't have known what they were up to either.
What's happened today has vast, vast global consequences, obviously. But if you bring it back down to ground in the UK this morning, it puts our Prime Minister in a very, very, some would say, dangerous situation.
And there were reports in the last month or so that Britain had actually ceased some degree of its intelligence sharing with the US government in the region. We know that the British Royal Navy and indeed the Royal Marines and other governmental agencies and assets are focused in the area, very interested in the narco trafficking networks there, have closely worked with the US forces in the region. Now, sources in Britain have actually denied the reporting. I think they first emerged in CNN that we had stopped some intelligence sharing. There's still a bit of murky ground there on what the relationship is, but already signs of a split there between the two governments on this particular policy. This step forward, again, it's being framed as being a part of a narco-trafficking network, got to stop that risk. It clearly goes beyond that, right? That's how the White House is dressing it up to some degree. It goes further.
Narco-trafficking, you mean the drug trafficking? Just to be clear, the fact that a lot of the drugs are being funneled from Colombia through Venezuela into America.
And that's the claim that they're making at the White House. But I think that this clearly goes beyond that. This is an extraordinary measure that is a reaction to and a solution to something beyond this concern about drug trafficking and about Venezuela's role in that. We've had a lot of commentary this morning already about oil reserves. It's very important to stress that Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves of any country in the world. The US is 9th globally, 303 billion barrels of oil in Venezuela. Much of it can't extract properly due to various technical limitations, and of course the country is pretty poor after decades of communist and then left-wing rule under authoritarian governments. Another point I want to make, Dawn, about further signs that these strikes might be about more than just the drug trafficking kingpins is that
what you just witnessed wasn't just Keir Starmer giving a cautious response. It was a devastating peek behind the curtain of a political establishment seemingly adrift and entirely out of the loop. We were not involved, he says. Then immediately, I want to speak to President Trump. I need to establish the facts. This isn't the response of a confident nation or even an informed opposition ready to hold power. This is the sound of a country, once a global power, being treated as an afterthought by its closest ally, America. It's clear, as the GBNews analysis highlighted, that the Prime Minister of the day, and by extension the entire UK intelligence apparatus, was completely blindsided by a major US military operation with massive global implications. Are we truly to believe that Washington didn't trust us with operational security on a critical international incident? Or worse, did they simply not think we mattered enough to inform us? The idea that our own Prime Minister, who we know has sophisticated protocols in place to be woken at any hour for such events, was likely learning about this from the news, just like the rest of us, is frankly terrifying. This isn't just a breakdown in communication, it's a profound statement on Britain's diminished influence and strategic irrelevance in the eyes of our supposed partners. Starmer's talk of upholding international law rings utterly hollow when he admits he doesn't even know the facts of the situation. It's pure, unadulterated virtue signaling at its most transparent, a desperate attempt to appear principled while being utterly clueless about the reality on the ground. This isn't just about Venezuela, it's about the very core of Britain's standing in the world. When our leaders, whether in government or opposition, are this uninformed about critical global events, it leaves ordinary Britons, the silent majority, wondering who is actually protecting our national interests, who is truly at the wheel, guiding our nation through an increasingly dangerous world. This entire episode is a stark reminder of the crumbling facade of global influence and the sheer, almost willful incompetence at the heart of our political system. We are told we are a key player, a crucial ally, yet when the chips are down, we are left scrambling for information, waiting for a US press conference like the rest of the world. This is not the Britain we know, not the Britain we should tolerate. The silent majority expects leadership, competence, and a government that commands respect on the world stage, not one that's left waiting for President Trump to give them the facts. It's an embarrassment, a national humiliation, and it speaks volumes about the priorities and capabilities of those currently holding power and those vying for it. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Was this an acceptable display of leadership from the UK political class, or does it confirm your worst fears about Britain's standing in the world? Let me know in the comments below.